All right, guys, I'm just making sure everything is up and running, and I will be starting here in just a second. All right, guys, so basically the stuff we've talked about the last couple days, this is going to really like tie it in. This is going to be very, very important. You know, a lot of people have messaged me talking about like the last couple days has really opened their eyes up to, stuff they've never seen before, never heard before. It's things that like they know that they need to get right before they actually get the results they want in all areas of their life. But this is something that's very powerful, right? And I've heard a few different people talk about it. And I've heard only really honestly a few people talk about it. I've heard a guy named Ray Higdon in the network marketing space, if you're familiar with him. And then I learned this from Jordan Belfort. And regardless if you like Jordan or not, Jordan is an extremely good sales guy, extremely good marketer. And of course, he did some stuff that not exactly what you would want to model back when he started, right? One of his messages he even preaches now is that you can do things for good and evil. And he likes to use what he did in the past as an example of what not to do, right? And what you do now is apply this to good ways, and your life can change in both your business and your life. So in my opinion, and guys, give me a yes. I just want to make sure I got my laptop up here. Give me a yes if you can hear everything fine and see it. I haven't said that. And also, if you guys have not smashed that like button, you don't have to smash it this very moment. But if you get value from this as you're going through this training, I would sure appreciate it so more people see it. But basically, here's the thing. Vision is what's going to keep you on the path to getting your goals. It's one thing to, create a game plan. It's another thing to, create your goals of what you want to accomplish this year. It's another thing to map out your daily action plan. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the actual action plan. People have asked me like, Zach, how do you map out your day? What's your daily routines? How do you stay focused? But that stuff does not matter until you understand vision. And the reason being is you're going to hit obstacles. We talked about that yesterday, right? You're going to hit obstacles. You're going to get pumped up. You're going to get charged up. You're going to be excited about doing this stuff. And then maybe 30 days from now, it probably won't even take that long. You're going to hit some kind of rut. And I guarantee you that if you do not have a vision, you're not going to succeed. What's going to happen is that rut is going to stop you. And then you're going to be like, man, I just don't feel like doing it. A lot of people talk about when I got in the network marketing industry, that's where I started years ago. They always talked about crafting your why. You got to know your why. It's got to be so strong to make you cry. But the problem with like a why is it doesn't really do anything for you. You could say like, I want to make $10,000 a month, but that's not very tangible. So here's the thing. I heard Jordan say this, and he said, every human being is thirsty for a vision, and very few have one. So they gravitate naturally towards people who have a vision. So I want you to think about this right now. The people you follow, the people that, you look up to, right? Probably it's because of the fact that your life is not where you want it to be in different areas of your life. That's not to feel bad about it, but you look at these other people and you're like, I don't know what they're drinking. I don't know what they're eating, whether it's Wheaties, it's health food. I don't know what they're on, but I want some of it. You follow people who have a vision. You follow people who are going places. You follow people who sound driven and they know what they want in life, because usually most of us don't. And I can tell you, when I was all over the place, I was opportunity seeking, right? I didn't have a vision. I didn't even know what vision was. I just wanted to make money. And this is why I always tell you to stop trying to make money, because when you're trying to make money, you're desperate. I don't know what you believe in, but what you put out into the universe is what you get back, right? And when all you're thinking about is making money, you're missing all the things that really matter. When you actually have a vision of what you want your life to look like, what it's going to feel like, how it's going to be in extreme detail, you're going to get it, because it's going to pull you there. A vision will pull you. Just setting goals, it's not going to be enough. There's going to be plenty of obstacles that you're going to face, and without this, it won't pull you to where you want to go. So here's the thing. You have to have a crystal clear vision in your mind before you can achieve it. I mean, you got to know every little detail. What do you want to do? How would you do it? Who would you do it with? Where would you go? If you didn't have a job right now, like what would your dream day like? Would you eat breakfast in the morning, or would you like go out and go for a run in the morning? And then from there, maybe you go eat at your favorite restaurant. And then possibly later you would go to the park. Like, what would you do? What car would you drive? Most people don't know these things in extreme detail. You have to craft that vision that's so compelling that it pulls you in the direction you want to go. When people set goals, right? Think about it. How many goals have you set year after year and you didn't get it? How many times have you said like, I want to lose weight? And then within a couple months, you didn't lose weight? How many times have you said, I want to make money, or I want to make, this massive success in my business, but then you fell short like 3 to 4 months in? And what happened was you didn't have a vision. You didn't have a crystal clear vision of what you wanted in extreme detail. Like that was my problem for the last couple of years, is my vision was muddy. I got my vision clear. And then once my coach actually passed away, then my vision, like it went down again, because at that point I felt lost. And it wasn't until I got my vision super dialed in this year that I was just like, this is what I want to build. The next 2 years of my life, I have mapped out in extreme detail. I know the exact steps I need to take. I know probably the exact timeline of each thing is going to happen. You know, when you know things in extreme detail, you're going to get it because you're constantly focused on it. Think about when you're in school and you focus on something that you really want to achieve. Like maybe you were playing baseball and you wanted to, you know, get MVP. When you were constantly focused on that, right? You did the things that were needed to pull you there. Abdul, no. Well, you missed like one slide. So you can go back and watch that if you want. But here's the thing. When you have your vision, when your vision is strong, literally nothing will get in your way. I don't care if you got your Facebook ad account banned. You're going to get 5 more. I don't care if you lost money and you went bankrupt. You're going to pull yourself back up again. I want you to think about entrepreneurs that you know. Entrepreneurs that literally went bankrupt. Jordan is a perfect example. The guy went to jail and he's a multimillionaire again. And it's because once you actually have your mind right, once you have your vision dialed in, once you have those skill sets, you can do it again and again and again. You know, I've literally had times in my career where I went all the way to the top and then come all the way to the bottom, and then I literally rebuilt it again in a week. And it was because I got my vision right. Once you get these skills, right, it's very easy to do it again and again. It doesn't even matter if, like, let's just say that, you know, I'm going to say you get sued. This is a very big potential that can happen. You could become a multi-millionaire, and then for whatever reason, somebody wants your piece of the pie and they could sue you and literally ruin your business. Now, the normal person, that would cripple them. They'd be right back at a job, right? But if you got your vision dialed in, I guarantee you could rebuild everything you had in probably about 60 days when your vision is crystal clear. You know, it's your GPS in a world filled with people that are lost and miserable. Why do you think people follow people on Instagram? Why do you think people constantly follow all these celebrities and all these things they're doing? Now, it's not because these celebrities have a vision. People are following all these different shiny objects because of the fact that they don't know what they want in their life. When you don't know what you want in your life, let's say, for example, right now, you are wanting to master Facebook ads, right? But if you're not crystal clear on that vision of what you're trying to achieve and what you want to do and how you want to do it and when you want to do it, when somebody else over here is like, hey, man, Snapchat is the thing you need to be on, you're missing out on this, you're literally going to flip-flop and go right over there. You see, I don't buy products. I don't buy programs. I don't follow people that are not aligned with what I want to achieve. I just don't. I don't pay attention to them. You know, I was just having a conversation with Sebastian, right? I just seen him come on a few minutes ago. And we were just talking about, like, we don't really follow anybody. We just stay in our lane. And it's because we know what we want, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, what we're going to achieve, and the timeline we're going to do it. Our vision is crystal clear. So we don't care about what marketer A over here is doing, marketer B over here is doing, marketer Z is over there doing in the distance. It's not even relevant to us. When your vision and belief is stronger than someone else, what's going to happen is they're going to gravitate to you and follow everything you say and do. So here's the thing I want you to think about right now. I get this all the time. You know, I've seen it, everything from people that are trying to be in affiliate marketing, people that are trying to be in multiple affiliate marketing niches, but even people like they're selling their own products in fitness, right? They have a little bit of knowledge in the fitness industry, but they have no testimonials. So they're like, Zach, how do I go out there and actually get people to follow me and listen to me? I don't have any results. I'm like, you don't have a vision. Results mean nothing. You know, results help, right? Social proof helps. I'm not putting that down. But what I'm saying is, think about it. When you come across somebody, give me a yes if this is true to you in your head. If you come across somebody and they're just talking with passion and conviction and they seem like they know what they're doing, don't you kind of stop and listen like, huh, this person's got a point. You don't need social proof. If you hear somebody and they sound like they're on their path, and they know what they want, what they're doing, they're sexy. So if right now you're worried because you're brand new, you're worried because of the fact that you have no results, you've not made money, you've not helped people, that's not your answer. It's because you don't have a vision. When you are talking about where you're going, what you're going to do, people are going to follow you. This is why I tell people we're going to talk about invest, learn, teach in a couple weeks here on how to create your content. People are asking me all these questions like about tactics the last couple of days, and I realize they're not paying attention to what I'm teaching. Tactics are irrelevant. Tactics are just tactics. Until you get your mind right, until you get your vision right, until you know what you want in clear detail, not a single thing I teach you is going to make you money. Until you get your brain wired, get that head straightened on your shoulders, the tactics will not help you. When you have a vision, give me a yes. How many of you guys, when you hear me talk, think I'm on a purpose? How many of you guys think I know exactly what I want, what I'm going to achieve this year, and it's crystal clear just by how I talk? Because it would be pretty hard to fake what I'm saying if I didn't know what I wanted out of life. That's what you got to get in your mind. Because when you talk like that, when you come from a place of knowing what you want in life, you stand out above everyone. Because most people are literally running around with their umbilical cords plugged into other people. They're looking for somebody to guide them. They're looking for somebody to save them. They're looking for somebody to make them feel good today. And it's because they don't know what they want. But when you are on your purpose, when your vision is clear, people are going to magnetize to you. So here's what you got to understand. Goals are not enough to be successful. You know, a vision is who you want to become. And I'm talking about a vision of who you want to become, not a month from now. I'm talking 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. It's what you want people to think about you. You know, I literally designed the person I wanted to become. I wanted people, when they hear me, they're just like, man, I gotta listen to this guy because I know that I need to hear this. I wanted to be that person that made an impact on people's lives. I wanted to be that person that they may have put that gun to their head and they heard my story and it saved them from doing it, which I'm going to share a story with you about that later. You know, when I first started out, I was insecure. I didn't think I had any value to add to the world because I was a kid that wanted to kill himself. That's a legit story. I wish I could make it up. If you go watch my documentary, you'll hear my mom's throat literally curdle as she's talking about how her son told her he wanted to kill himself every day. And when I got to the point of actually crafting my vision, I started saying, what value do I have to add to the world? Whose lives can I help? How can I impact other people? I mean, that's why most people are not making money. They're focused on themselves, their own selfish desires. How many of you guys know that probably 99% of people, they don't really truly care about you. They care about themselves. Here's one thing I hear and see comments on my YouTube channel all the time, and I see comments in this group, and I see comments in messaging. Like, wow, Zach, I see you really care about me. That's my sex appeal. It's not fake. You can't fake caring about other people. When you only care about yourself, you come off as desperate. Think of it this way, ladies. If a guy walks up to you and he pretty much just starts hitting on you and trying to convince you to go back home, you pretty much know what he wants, right? That's exactly how it sounds and comes off in your marketing when you're just trying to sell people stuff. They can see that you just view them as a credit card. They can see that all you care about is getting paid. That's it. You cannot fake sincerity. You cannot fake actually caring about people. When I talk about giving value and helping people, I mean it. A lot of people think like, so what questions do I need to answer in order to sell them? And it's like you've missed the message. You've not got clear about what kind of person you want to become, what you want to be known for. Like, I know when I go to my deathbed, I don't want to be known for the guy that made millions of dollars. I'll be forgotten. There've been plenty of people that made millions of dollars. I want to be the guy that made a difference. I want to be the guy that helped Filipinos that are poor, that didn't have opportunities. I want to be the guy that impacted thousands of people's lives, not just sold products. Money is just money. It's paper. You know, a goal is simply a milestone along the way. Here's what you got to realize. People say, I want to make $10,000, Zach. What does that mean? What does that mean? What is $10,000? What will that do for your family? How will it impact your life? What will it allow you to do? How will it make you feel? Have you really thought about this? Give me an answer in the chat box, yes or no. When you say you want to make a specific amount of money, have you thought in detail, like what does that mean to you? Is it just a tangible number that you think is going to make you happy and make your life easier? But what is it really going to do for you? How's it going to help you? I can tell you right now, if you just say, I want to make $10,000, you're never going to make $10,000. I promise you. Because you're just focused on money. You don't even know what you want in life. $10,000, you could get that anywhere. Goals are good, but this is why most people fail. So like, I want to lose weight. I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to get in a relationship with somebody that loves me, but they don't even specify what they want in that person to love them. Anybody can love you, but you can get a really bad person in your life to love you. This isn't just business. This is every area of your life. And I can tell you right now, a goal will not keep you going when things get tough. When you get punched in the face, you remember what Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. When you get punched in the mouth, if you don't know this vision, if you don't have clarity of what you want, what you're trying to achieve, what you want to represent, you're going to stop. Because I'm promising you, things are going to get hard. I'm sure a lot of you guys realize even me just putting these presentations together takes a lot of my time. Last night, as I was sitting together, putting this together, I half debated on going to bed and saying, oh, I'll just do it in the morning. But if I did that, I probably would have not made it on here in time, because I still had to launch my funnel, launch my coaching funnel. I had to follow up with my coaching students. But I wanted to go to bed because it was late. I even thought about watching Netflix like we talked about yesterday. As I said, I am not different. I'm not different than you. There's plenty of stuff that I would rather be doing than a lot of this. How did you find your vision? We're going to talk about that, Max. We're going to talk about how you create it. I'm not just going to talk about vision. I'm going to talk about how you map it out in clarity. I'm even going to talk about how you map out your dream lifestyle and how much it costs. Just stick with me. I got your answer. So once you realize a vision is what pulls you to become that person. You know, a lot of people just like, they say they want to do something, but they don't even know like the person they want to be. I want you to realize right now, in order for you to step into your power, to be the person that you're meant to be, you have to kill the old version of you. You have to kill Max. You have to kill Cameron. You have to kill Natalie. You have to kill Ruth and become the better version of yourself. And again, and again, and again. I want you to realize even after you create your vision, you're going to have to craft it many times in your life. It's not just going to be once. There's going to be times that it gets you there and then you burn out. And it's because you got everything you want. If you remember what I talked about before yesterday, once I arrived at the promised land that I thought was going to make me happy, I said, what now? It's fine to use things in the early days to motivate you. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to show you like my original vision, and I'm going to talk about like where I'm at now. But originally it was more like, I just want to help my family. I want things. And that's fine. If that motivates you, I don't care what motivates you. Every night before I go to bed, I have a routine I follow every single night. I read a book, I look at Lambos, and I read my vision. So even now, there's still things that motivate me, right? The Lambo is simply to break my 4-minute mile, to tell myself that I can achieve, have, do anything I want in life. But it's just a thing. I guarantee you after I have it for probably a week, it'll wear off like what's next, and then I'll have to stretch something else, right? You're going to constantly keep having to craft a new vision. And that doesn't mean if you're a non-materialistic person that you need to have a car or a house or something like that, because I know there's some people in this group that even told me, like, I just want to be able to live in Asia and like feel freedom. And trust me, I understand what you're saying, because when I'm in Asia, I feel more free than when I'm in America. I want to buy stuff like Lambos and mansions and stuff when I'm in America. Whatever you want is what you got to craft, your perfect life, not what your parents want for you, not what your friends want for you, not what so-and-so guru on the internet tells you your dream life should be. It needs to be yours. So I want you to realize habits and daily routine are extremely important. You guys hear me talking about mastering the basics, sticking to a game plan. We're going to talk about the game plan and mapping out your individual game plan, not the game plan Zach made for you, but your game plan tomorrow. But at the end of the day, habits and daily routine are just what gets you there, right? But without this vision, just like I said, when you hit an obstacle, it's not gonna keep pulling you there. You're gonna stop. This is me. Once I broke free of where I was at, right? I grew up like in this trailer. This is where I grew up as a kid. And I used to hear people say trailer park trash and say mean things, right? And it drove me nuts. And one of the things I heard from Tony Robbins is you have to create some kind of pain, something that just drives you to get to where you want to be. And I wanted a better life for myself and my family. I wanted them to have the things they want to have. I wanted to be able to do things without thinking about what it cost. You know, my goal right now is to be able to walk into the Lamborghini dealership and say, I want that one. I don't care what it costs. I don't care about the taxes. I don't care about what all the expenses are. I want that one. Ship it to my house. You got to know clearly what you want, right? I don't want to save. I know saving is smart, but I don't want to be that person. You got to really know what you want. And for me, I wanted to have what I want, do what I want, when I want, without somebody telling me what's realistic. Give me a yes. How many of you heard people tell you what's realistic, whether it be your family or your friends? Do you know what realistic really is? Realistic is what you tell yourself. It's what you create in your mind. And when somebody says something is realistic, that means that's what's realistic in their mind. That's what they've created for themselves. That's the limitations they put on themselves of what's possible. You know, I told you guys a story recently about how my uncle come to my house, and he used to be the most successful one in the family. And he makes six figures, right? The magical six figures. And he's giving me financial advice on what kind of house I should purchase. And I told him how big of a house I want, 8 to 10,000 square feet. And he's like, nobody needs a house that big. I said, I do. I do. And he just looked at me like dumbfounded. He was like, that's just ridiculous. Not in my world. Like, you have to know what you want, not what your family and other people put on expectations for you. You have to know what you want. So this is the house I currently live in. It's not small by any means, but it's not what I want. But this is what I wanted at the time. You know, when I was back here, this is what I wanted. I crafted that in my mind. And we live in the biggest house in the neighborhood. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this to look at Zach. I'm trying to help you understand that you have to craft the vision of what you want very clearly. You have to know it. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of you have these like big goals of what you want, but you're scared of it. You're scared of it. Like, you thought like, yes, I want this, but no, that's not smart. You know, that might be bad financial advice to do that. It might not be smart to invest in this house, because Grant Cardone says you should never have a house till you make $20 million a year. You should rent. I'm not trying to throw off on Grant Cardone, but I've heard him say this. Like, don't base your justifications on what you want in your life based on what some guru tells you is realistic. For me, I want to pay for my $1 million home in cash. Even Russell Brunson, as big as he is, he talked about this. He said, a lot of people tell you it's not smart to pay off your house. You should keep all your liquid cash for your business. He goes, but for me, he goes, I wanted to pay off my home because then I feel free. I don't feel like if the business tanks, I'm screwed. My family's on the street. I wanted to pay it off so that way I can go big. You know, for me, I'm going to build what I want. I don't care what somebody else says is smart. I don't care if somebody else says a Lamborghini is a dumb way of using my money. I'm smart with my money. There's a reason I don't have a Lamborghini now, even though I can afford it. I get what I want. Same thing for the motorcycle, right? This is the motorcycle I dreamed of for years. If you don't know, I'm a car and motorcycle guy, right? I've had like 20 odd cars and 15, 17 bikes, something insane. And I always wanted this bike, but the thought of owning a $20,000 plus motorcycle to me just seemed kind of crazy, at least where I come from. I used to buy used motorcycles for $6,000 or $7,000. I thought that was a lot. And a lot of times I put them on my credit cards. Talk about stupid financial sense. But once I come back from the Philippines, I was not going to buy this. But my parents forced me. They said, you can't not reward yourself. You've literally been like, you sold your car. I used to have this amazing Camaro. I sold it. I sold all my toys. I literally had nothing for over 2 years in order to get there. And they pushed me to reward myself. And I'm glad they did. It helped me to really stretch my mind to, I can do what I want. But remember what I said, you know, you're going to have to keep stretching your vision. Because after I got it, then that's when I realized, like, just things pulled me so far. Helping my family pulled me so far. But like now it's beyond helping my family because I can do that. Now it's helping other people. One of the things I really want to do is give back to kids in the Philippines. I want to mentor children. Help them not take the wrong path because society is setting them up for failure. You got to make your purpose bigger, and it's going to stretch the bigger you go. But at this current moment, when I bought that motorcycle, that was my vision. Remember what I said? I don't want to know what, you know, oh, can I afford it? I paid cash for this thing. I remember even the guy saying, what do you do, kid? I think I was like 28 at the time, but I was a kid still in his comparison. And he said that literally nobody pays cash for a Harley Davidson. Nobody. Everybody comes in and they get it on payments. Even guys that are in their 50s that you would think have the money, that they buy it on payments. I'm sure he probably thought I was a drug dealer, which is completely cool with me too. But you got to know this in your mind. What is motivating you to get to where you want to be? What's it going to look like? Now, this is what really inspired me, right? Because when my motorcycle accident happened, it wasn't my friends that were there for me. They all bailed on me, right? They left me hanging. When I wanted to kill myself, it wasn't my friends there to keep me up. It was my mom and dad. So my mission was to help my family. You know, I remember this like so vaguely. I remember, not vaguely, clearly. I remember it so clearly. It was like right before Christmas, and my mom's minivan broke down. She literally had this thing forever since I was a kid. And she was freaking out like how she's going to afford how to do it. She was hysterical and cussing and everything else under the sun, like a typical person probably would do. I said, just relax. Let's go to the dealership. I let her pick out her car. I want you to think right now, how would that make you feel if you could help somebody in your family? Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's your kid. Maybe you want to be able to get your daughter or your son a car like this. Maybe your sister. How would it make you feel to be able to help somebody in your family like that? And it doesn't matter because you have the money. You don't care how much it costs. You know, you got to really know in your head the things you want to do and the things that are going to pull you to where you want to go. I literally map all this stuff out on paper. I'm going to talk about how to do it when we get here to the end, but I map it out in extreme detail to know what I want. Now, besides my mom, I even helped Santa Claus here get his car, right? I call him Santa Claus because this was when he was overweight and he looked like Santa Claus. But he wanted this truck. And this is something that I wanted to be able to do for both of my mom and dad. I wanted to be able to give them a better life. And this is where you got to really sit and think about it. Like, how would it make you feel to be able to show up in life for the people that you love and do nice things for them? It could be your girlfriend. It could be your boyfriend. It could be your husband or wife. It doesn't have to be your parents. How would it make you feel to be able to help those people? You got to get emotionally driven, because understand, people only buy from emotions. They only do things that make them emotional. Same thing for taking action, right? You're not going to take action on logic. Trust me, you're not. If it doesn't make you feel something, it won't pull you. This is why I'm telling you to think in detail. How does it make you feel? Because logic will not get you there. Logic is what you do to make business decisions. But if it's not emotionally pulling you, it's not something that's exciting you, you're not going to do it. When you hit an obstacle, you're going to quit. Now, here's not to brag, right? This is not to show you like, look at my stuff. But this is $50,000 sitting in front of your face, right? Just the table alone, the stand-up desk is like $1,700. There's probably $20,000 of camera gear there. This is what I dreamed of years ago. I'm a nerd by heart. Some of you guys may already know that if you followed me for a while, but this is what I dreamed of. I remember literally on Christmas Day, I was sitting here and I'm like looking around and it hit me. I'm like, there's literally nothing I want. I mean, there's a couple new camera lenses I'd like to get for my new camera, but outside of that, there's literally nothing else I want. I got my dream light set up. I got my dream computer set up. I got my dream camera. I even got the gimbal so that way I can balance the camera. Then I got a gimbal for my iPhone, a gimbal for my GoPro. I literally have the whole setup that I dreamed about. I remember like looking at people doing awesome videos and I was like, man, that's so cool. Like video is what drives me. Video is what makes business fun to me. Like this stuff right here, I'm not even working. This is play. I love video. This is what drives me. Now, a lot of these things are things, right? But my point is that if you want things, that's okay. A lot of people tell you that if like you're materialistic, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's because that's how they feel. They're not comfortable with money. Some people, I guarantee you, that even listen to this today are going to be very uncomfortable just because I said, look, this is $50,000. They're so uncomfortable with the thought of money that they can't even wrap their mind around it. So they think that it's arrogant to talk about money. Understand, if you have a bad relationship with money, if you think money is evil, if you think talking about money is bad, you're never going to be able to make money. I love money. I'd literally roll around naked in the bed and bathe in it. So if you're uncomfortable about talking about what you want and the things that you want, you're going to repel it because you get what you put out into this universe. Natalie said, where's the lady's leg lamp? It's there. If you look really close, it's dark. It's next to the gimbal at the end. You can see the silhouette on the wall. That's right. Money solves problems. It makes your life easier. Now, this is right here is what I truly wanted. This slide alone right here, it represents everything to me. Does anybody that's followed my story on the left-hand side of the picture, I just want to see if any of the people have been following me for years. What is the left-hand side picture? What is that? I'm sure most people know what it is, but I want to see if some of the people that have followed me for years know exactly what that image is. That is my hell. That is my hell. On the right is heaven. That is where I spent 60 to 80 hours of my life, like literally every single day, 7 days a week. This is the place that when I quit and gambled it all and went to the Philippines, that was where I was at the post office. There was times in the winter I literally slept there during Christmas. I'm not even joking. I would literally be on call because I was the manager. There was times that I would go home on Sunday. I remember one time, literally, I went out with my parents on Sunday to go out to dinner, right? And so I was going to relax. At that point, I drank a lot of beer. I'm not going to lie. I spent a lot of time drinking. And I got drunk while I was at the restaurant. And then I get a call, hey, Zach, you got to come in. Are you serious? So my parents literally had to drive me there because I was drunk and I had to go to work. I literally lived in that place. I hated it. I would say my average day was probably between 10 to 12 hours a day on average. So when the creditors actually got to the point where they were going to take all my money, there was absolutely no way I was going to stay working there for free. But when I actually quit that job, this is what I designed in my head. I seen it before I actually experienced it. I'd be able to go and stay at awesome places when I travel. I'd be able to go where I want, when I want, how I want, on my terms. When I go back to the Philippines, I'm going to be flying first class. These are all things that I designed in my head. Crystal clear. I thought about how it would make me feel. I remember when I literally stand out over this balcony. This is when I really first hit it. I was there to get a ring for making over $200,000. I remember looking out there and just saying, man, all those sleepless nights, all those times doubting myself, all those times literally like having tears come out of my eyes. I remember even having tears come down my face as I was looking out saying, man, I can't believe I made it. I want you to think about right now, how would that make you feel when you get to that point where all this work you're putting in, you feel like all these times that you want to quit, all these times people think you're a loser, all these times that you feel the rejection when people don't buy the stuff you're trying to sell. How's that going to make you feel when you finally get there and realize that all those efforts you put in, you can now connect the dots going backwards to see that it all played a big part? You know, I used to think when I got hit by the drunk driver that was like a curse. How did I work so hard and do the right things that everybody tells you in life, and now I got $50,000 in debt from some childish girl that's 16 and gets drunk and decides to go driving? And like now I look back at it and it was a gift. I would not be here speaking to you if I didn't get hit. I would have not saved other people's lives who literally write me emails because of the fact that I had the courage to share that I wanted to kill myself and I actively talk about it. That I was able to save their life. You know, like even right now, even talking about it still makes me emotional to think that I was that guy that put the gun to his head and really thought about pulling the trigger. But because of the fact that I was able to share my story and had the courage to keep fighting, I've given other people hope. You know, I remember one time getting up on stage and sharing my story, and this girl walked up to me afterwards and literally had tears in her eyes. And I'm like, what'd I do? She's like, when you shared your story about wanting to put the gun to your head, she goes, I have a kid at home that has autism. And I bought the ticket to this event, like just hoping I would get some kind of hope that my life could change. You know, I just found out like literally 2 weeks ago that my husband's been cheating and he's divorcing me. And like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know what to do. And I literally was sitting with a glass of scotch and a gun last night debating on killing myself. But hearing you share your story has literally given me hope to realize that my problems are not as bad as I think they are. And if you were able to turn your life around, then so can I. So I want you to think about this right now. Maybe you didn't go through where you wanted to kill yourself. Maybe you didn't think about something like that. But maybe you're going through some hell right now yourself. All this is going to serve a bigger purpose for you when you can see where you're going. Because eventually that story is going to empower other people. You know, the things that you're going through right now, the doubts that are in your head, that's a natural process that myself and other people have went through. But a lot of people don't think about this, right? They just think about what the lack of they have in their life right now, what's not going right that they want. They're not thinking about where they want to go and how great it's going to feel and how amazing it's going to be once they arrive. They're just thinking about, I'm in debt. Life isn't fair. My husband cheated. Trust me, life is not fair. I climbed all the way to the top to find out that the person I was engaged to was cheating on me the whole time. Life's not fair. For the second time in my life, I was able to rebuild my life because I crafted my vision again. So I want you to realize right now, even if you are going through some tough times, this stuff is going to serve its purpose. You got to focus on your vision and where you want to go, not the hell that you're in currently. So here's what I want you to realize. If you haven't understood it right now, right? Emotions are important. Emotions are extremely important. Did any of you guys have cold chills or a little bit of like an awkward feeling as I've been sharing this, as I was talking? Like, even though maybe you didn't go through the same stuff I did, maybe it made you feel something. If it didn't, that's okay. Just type yes if it did give you some kind of feeling. I'll tell you why I'm asking that in a minute. Of course, Carrie says. Yes. Now, if you noticed when I've been talking, right? I've been very descriptive. I talked about tears flowing down my face. I talked about cold chills going through my body. I talked about looking out over the balcony and just like literally feeling emotional and thinking about crying and just saying, man, all those feelings were worth it. I talked about all the self-doubts and thinking about how I wanted to quit and how I was crying in my room and how I literally felt like a failure. You see, the more descriptive you are, it pulls people to you. It's your story. It's your vision. See, if right now you're having trouble attracting people to you, it's because you're scared to share who you are. You're scared to share what you want. You're scared to share where you're going. But the more descriptive you can get, the more clarity you can paint that picture for somebody visually, you can take them where you want to go. You know, a lot of my close friends and people that know me, they say, man, you are a born copywriter. Because naturally, I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm a bit perverted. I say a lot of screwed up stuff because I like to make people laugh. But even when I do it, I even still use copywriting when I'm doing it because I'm constantly practicing on telling stories. When I tell something, you can literally like, oh God, that's nasty. And I do it on purpose because I'm constantly practicing my vision, my story, everything. Now, most people won't share stuff like this with you because they'll want you to think they're this perfect person. They never cuss. They never make jokes. They never tell things that are inappropriate. But let's be real. We're all human beings here, right? Ruth says it's not easy to be vulnerable. It's not. Trust me, it's not. Do you know how scary it was for me to admit that, like, I cuss? Like, for a long time, I'm like, man, I really don't want to say the word fuck because I know I say it in real life, but if I say it, maybe people think I'm not professional. I'm not. And because I was going around doing this, I come off fake. I was being fake. I was being somebody trying to people please. I was worried that if I was the real Zach, people wouldn't like me. I thought that I needed to dress professional. I needed to talk professional. And because of that, when I would go to do videos, I was very tense. But now I'm just being myself because I realize at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't like me, I don't care. You want people in your life that like you, that resonate with you, that feel like they're a part of your family. You don't want people in your life that are just pain in the ass customers. When you have your vision clear of where you're going and what you're doing, it doesn't matter about your results. Trust me, people will buy from you 10 times more if you just talk about where you're going and they think you have certainty. You know, I talked about earlier about vision, right? About how Jordan said when you have a vision, people will follow you. Well, when you're certain about that vision, even if you haven't achieved it yet, people are going to follow you. I don't talk about money much for a reason. It's not that I'm uncomfortable with it. I just don't really like all the people that's how they market, where all they do is talk about how much money they made and what car they drive and how cool they are. They drink their own Kool-Aid. They're not that cool. So I want you to realize right now, if you want a car, it's okay. But you got to think about what will it feel like to own it? I literally know what the sounds sound like of that Lamborghini. I know how amazing it's going to feel when I'm flying down the road. I know what roads I'm going to take it on. You got to know even where you're going to drive the car. Who are you going to show it off to? Who would be the first person you would go share once you got your dream car? How good is it going to finally feel to own it? See, these are emotions. If you want a house, what will it look like? Will it have a pool? Will it have a hot tub? Will it have a sauna? How many rooms? Where will it be? Would it be in the same state, the same country? Maybe you're crazy like me and you want to live in the Philippines and in America another time, or maybe South America. How will it make you feel to finally do that? How will it make your family feel once they get in that house? How will it make them feel about you? That you finally got them in that big house? If you want to speak, what do you want to tell people? What is your message? How will it impact their lives? Remember what I talked about sharing my message on stage and it saved somebody's life? Will they come up and thank you afterwards because you made a difference in their life? How will it make you feel when your family hears you to speak? You know, I remember the first time I spoke and my dad heard me, and like he said that like that was the best feeling for him. It wasn't the fact of the money I made, but it was to see the person I'd become and how I literally moved the audience as I spoke. How they followed my every word and they watched me as I walked back and forth, and their head was just like a wave going back and forth, following my every word, my every move. It was like seeing the person I become. You got to think of all these things in detail because this is what's going to pull you. Give me a yes if this is something that you've never done. You've never really sat down and been honest with yourself of what you want and why it's important to you and how it's going to make you feel. I'm willing to bet at least 95% of you have never really got clear on what's important to you. You may have said like, I want to stay at home with my kids so I can be more active in their life, but what's that mean? What would you do exactly? Like what is actually being active and showing up and being present mean? It's one thing to say the specific thing. It's another thing to paint that picture so vividly that you fill it with emotion. So you got to really figure out like how will reaching these goals make you feel? How will it make you feel every day when you can wake up in the morning with a purpose? You know, a lot of you tell me personally in like Messenger, right? You're like, man, what do you do to get motivated in the morning? Like, what's your morning routine? Like, the problem is it's not my morning routine that's keeping me going, and it's the lack of you going. It's the fact that you don't have a true purpose that drives you. I hate sleep. I want to get that stuff over with so I can get back to work. I want to get up and go to the gym. I want to get in so I can start reading my books. I want to get into the day and start getting stuff done. I know what I'm going to achieve this year. I don't want to sleep. Sleep is important, but the purpose pulls me. Like I don't sleep in on the weekends. Here's something I always thought was funny. And even people in my family do this where they look forward to the weekend so they can sleep into like 10 or 11 and catch up on sleep. The only reason somebody does this is because they don't have a purpose, because if they had a purpose, they would realize that sleep is holding them back. I guarantee you at the end of your life, you're not going to look at it and be like, man, I sure wish I had more days to sleep in on Saturdays and Sundays. And then usually on Sundays, they're regretting the fact that they have to go to work. If you're in a job right now, here's the thing. You got to have gratitude that you have a job, and you have to be excited about where you're going and what you're going to achieve and what's going to happen once you get out of that job, not escaping from life. You got to really think about how are people going to perceive you when you actually show up at your full potential. Like right now, I want you to think about this. When people come across you, do you think you're an example for what to do or what not to do? And if the answer is what not to do, you probably want to change that so you start getting on your purpose and people want to follow you and listen to what you have to say. You don't want to be the person that's constantly taking advice. You want to be the person that's giving it and people are listening and they're looking to you for their insights. But I want you to think even deeper. How will these goals impact your relationships, your personal relationships with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, or your friends? What about your business relationships? What about the people that you can finally network with and have people in your inner circle that drive you? You know, I shared with you yesterday about how, you know, somebody that was an old coaching student is now somebody that's like a mastermind partner, Sebastian. We literally share ideas and drive each other. We're accountability partners. Later this year, I'm getting in some high-level masterminds to get around people that are making 8 figures a year. These are all things that I envision to get around people that constantly elevate me. You know, people that are 7-figure earners now don't even impress me because I've done it. So now I'm going to the next level. You got to really design this in your head. Like, you want people around you to make you feel so small that it pushes you to go bigger. That's why I want to be around 8-figure earners, because their level of thinking is so much bigger than mine. They would look at me and say, kid, your goals are small. You don't want people around you that's telling you it's okay. It's okay to play small. Average people will tell you it's okay to be average, but it's not okay. You want people to call you out on your crap. You want people to say, why are you doing that? This is how you do it. There's a reason I love straight line leadership, and it's because it's not fluffy. I read it every day and I'm like, God, Zach, get your shit together. I love that. I love that feeling of constantly needing to get better. That's why I speak like this. That's why I have my goals like this. This is why I have a purpose. This is why my vision is clear, is because every day I'm focused on getting 1% better. I don't just want to make a bunch of money. I want to impact the people that are around me. I want people to look to me for inspiration, to push them to go bigger, to become the best version of themselves. These are probably things that most of you have not thought about. You know, you got to get really clear of the life that you want, right? This is like my serenity. This is a Philippines beach. I want to be able to live wherever I want to go. So this year I'm staying really grounded at the moment. But here pretty soon I'll be bouncing back and forth whenever I want. If I get homesick, I'll just come back to America. If I get homesick for Philippines, I'll go back to the Philippines. But there's just something about the beach. And you know, even though I want to move to Florida, when I go to Florida, the beach is just not the same. It's not the same as the Philippines for me. This is like my home. It will always be my second home. It doesn't mean it's your home, because you may have no desire to ever go to the Philippines. But for you, there's something that you want that drives you when you really get clear on it. There's something that gives you that inner peace, and this is my inner peace. Now, I want to talk about how you actually go about designing your life, right? Because we got to talk about money now. Because a lot of people are not comfortable with like how much things cost. They look at things and they're like, you know, I can never do that. I can never afford it. It's because they don't even really know what $1 million lifestyle is. Now, I'll be honest. I think it's much smarter to live very frugal in your early days. Because here's something a lot of people never realize. They think they're going to be untouchable. They think once they make a bunch of money, it's always going to be that way, and they're never going to hit a rut. And I heard Russell Brunson say he heard this from an angel investor, and the angel investor said, I never work with anybody that has not cycled. And what he meant by people that have not cycled is people that have not crashed and lost everything. He said there's only two types of entrepreneurs, Russell. There's the ones that have made it to the top and crashed and then never to be seen again. And then there's the type of people that have made it to the top, crashed, and they rebuilt it again. He goes, I want to see that they've at least crashed once, because I know that if they haven't, they've drank their own Kool-Aid and they think that they're untouchable. And that's not somebody I want to invest my money in. So my point here is that you want to get comfortable, though, with what your dream life will cost you, because it's not as expensive as you think. Now, this number is probably going to make a lot of you uncomfortable, but understand this is my dream life. This is the life that I'll have this year. I didn't start out this way, but I kept stretching it. My bills are nowhere close in comparison to this, because I've been investing my money into my business, and I will be this year as well. So house in the U.S., this is the mansion that I plan to buy, right? It probably won't even be $4,000. Now I'm going to have to put probably a $200,000 down payment, but it'll be between $2,800 to probably $3,500 a month. But I just put $4,000 to be safe. Condo in the Philippines. This is an epic condo. I'm talking like in the best area with glass windows all the way around, $2,000 a month. Family bills. This is figuring high. Like, me and my family do not live very luxurious. We don't go out to $100 dinners and do all that stuff. I'm just throwing out crazy insurance, random stuff, just a big number in my head, $5,000. Employees, $5,000 a month. Right now it's nowhere close to that, but that's probably what it'd be by the end of this year once I build my team. But that will build me a multi-million-dollar empire, $5,000 a month. Travel, $2,000 a month just to do whatever the heck I want, whenever I want. I probably won't travel this much if you know anything about me, but it's there that I can do it when I want to. Lambo plus insurance, $4,000 a month. Basic living expenses. This is like groceries, going out, whatever. Fun money, This is just to buy what I want. I can just buy whatever the heck I want. Doesn't matter when I want to. Doesn't matter if it's a stupid expense. I can just get what I want. $25,000 per month. Now, obviously, most people are not going to live like this, right? But in comparison to the money I'll be making back, this will be absolutely nothing. And in order for me to have that, I had to get comfortable with the thought of what things cost, because I was afraid to do this exercise, because I was afraid of actually being able to own this stuff and have it. And because of the fact that I was scared of what my dream life would cost, I never actually got it because I was scared of what it would cost. Now, a lot of you are going to find out that like when you're at like $20,000 a month, you can live like a millionaire. Like seriously, once you're at $20,000 a month, you can live like a millionaire. Anything above and beyond that is just icing on the cake. I can do this in a week, so it's nothing. So my point being is a lot of people in their head, they think that they need to be a multimillionaire before they actually have a great life. But when you actually define what you want, let's say, okay, give me a yes in the chat box. If it took you 3 years to be able to have a life like this, would it be worth it to you? Would it be worth it to you to dedicate yourself for 3 years to pretty much have a life people dream about like celebrities have? And from there forward, it's not going to stop. You're going to keep making more money and keep getting bigger. Is it really worth it to you to be able to call? And your dream life could literally cost $5,000. My point is, if it took you 3 years to be able to do whatever you want on your terms, when you want to, how you want to, without somebody telling you it's realistic, is 3 years worth it to you? I really hope that the answer is yes, because it doesn't take that long. Like in 2 years, you literally can be a millionaire. That is not hype. That's not BS. If you focused on your lane, you stayed focused like we've been talking about the last couple of days, you could do this in 2 years. I'm telling you. I would have done it in 2 years if I wasn't all over the place and opportunity seeking. Like the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys now, I'm trying to save you the pain of what I went through. The pain of investing in bad mentors that are full of it. The pain of being an opportunity seeker and following everything that looked like it was going to be easy money with no work. The pain of constantly looking for a secret. The pain of not actually just staying in my lane and staying focused. I honestly think you can achieve this in a year. I really do. That plan I mapped out for you for $55,000 a month, that is for a beginner if you stay focused. But people don't stay focused. They get 3 months in, they're out. They're cashing out. So Max asked, how do you map out your vision, Zach? So this is how I map out my vision. I write down my vision, and this is like after you create it, right? I'm going to share with you in a minute here, but this is what I do every day so my vision stays clear. I write down my vision in Evernote and read it every day in the morning and before bed. I learned this in the book Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich, I highly suggest you do. I highly suggest that you read it. But once I read that book, it's kind of funny. I'm just thinking about it. I'm off topic, but I don't know if anybody of you got this. I just think I'm going to see if anybody is like, God, Zach, you're stupid. I read the book Think and Grow Rich 3 times, and I never got the actual secret as you think. Did anybody else read the book Think and Grow Rich and never really got the secret? I remember reading the book 3 times. I'm still like, what's the secret? And then randomly I was sitting and thinking one day, and I'm like, oh my God, that is the secret. It's think and grow rich. Think and grow rich. In every single lesson, that's the message. You think. See, a lot of you guys are skipping the stuff that's really the foundational practices that all of the pioneers, people that were not internet marketers, the people that like created the gold rush, the people that created the oil, the oil digging, the people that created the trains, all the original pioneers, the Rockefellers, think and grow rich. That's what we're talking about here. We're thinking how to grow rich and defining it. I just think it's funny. I read it 3 times. I never got the lesson. It wasn't until I sat and I was like, oh my God, that's the secret. And the reason I never got the secret is because of the fact that I was sitting there. Yeah. Natalie says, I think people only got the sexual transmutation part. The reason I think I never got the secret is because I was looking for a secret. I was looking for like easy ways that I'm going to get rich. So after I map out the vision and I get clear on all these things that I just talked about, I write it down in detail. I have like my personal relationship goals. I have how much money I'm going to make. I have the date that I'm going to make the money. I have the goal of the 2 Comma Club award. I have the goal of the exact house with the picture. I have the goal of the Lamborghini with the picture of the color that I want. Everything is in extreme detail. I have a picture of a guy who has exact body and he's bald just like me, of the exact body that I'm aiming to get this year. Call it gay. I don't care. He's sexy. I know everything in detail of what I want, and I read it and look at it and I think about it. Every single goal, I read it and I think, like, God, what's it going to feel like when I finally look like that? What's it going to feel like when I finally drive that car? Every day. Think and Grow Rich talks about this in the book. You must write down your goals, and you must read it, and you must think about it and how it's going to make you feel. It talks about this. This is where I learned, the whole goal list of how to actually do it, and the power of emotions and how it drives you is from the book Think and Grow Rich. And that's why I keep talking about emotions, because a lot of you are writing things down just because you think you want it, because society tells you that you need that stuff, but you don't really have any emotional attachment to it, so therefore you won't do it. Now, when I want to quit, this is what I do. When I want to quit, I think of the alternative. I actually have a band. It's like, those armbands, like What Would Jesus Do? I had one of those made, and I put it around my podcasting mic so I can look at it. And it says, when I want to quit, think of the alternative. So the alternative to me is I could be back in a job. I could be back in that prison. I could be miserable, and I'm lost, and I don't know what my purpose is, and I'm spending all my time drinking, getting drunk, and partying because I'm just trying to escape life. I could be still popping pills because I don't really care if I die or I just have a buzz. I could be like looking at things on movies all the time, just trying to escape on the weekend because I dread having to work again. Like, you got to constantly, when you want to quit, you got to think of like, okay, if I quit on my dreams, if I give up right now, if I stop doing this video because it's hard and it makes me feel uncomfortable, what's the alternative? What's the alternative if I don't do this video? I know videos are what I need to do to get to where I want to be. What if I decide because this is hard and it feels uncomfortable right now, I just decide not to do it? What's the alternative? And the last thing I do is I focus on gratitude every single day. I literally every single day, I thank God for the people that are in my life. Whatever you believe in, you think whatever you believe in. But for me, I thank God every single day for the people that are in my life that love me, for the mentors that I've come across that have helped me. I think, the person that cheated on me and literally broke my heart and broke me down as a person to rebuild me. I thank the drunk driver who hit me and put me through hell. I'm even thankful for the bad stuff. A lot of people only want the good stuff, right? They're only thankful for when things go great. I'm thankful for the bad times, because without the bad, you never have the good. You should know that if you paid attention to the lesson yesterday. You don't get the bad, you don't get the good without going through the pain first. I'm thankful for the pain. Every single day, I'm thankful for the things that got me here. I'm thankful for the people that love and support me and keep me happy. And then I focus on daily on following through on my action plan, just the 1% better I always talk about. That's all I'm focused on. I'm just focused on making this today the best today. Like, all I did, you guys may not realize this, but I have like a routine I go through every day before I get on live. Put on like my hype song. I jump around like a retard doing jumping jacks and making weird noises out of my mouth to change my state, because I learned that from Tony Robbins. And I say, and then I meditate and I ask God to make this presentation, make it feel. I want the people to feel it so it changes their life. I don't focus on what I got to do tomorrow. I don't got to focus on what I got to do 2 hours from now. I just compartmentalize myself, and I have to make this presentation amazing every day. You got to be completely in the moment and happy where you're at. Even if right now it's your hell, you got to be thankful for that, because it's preparing you for the person you're going to become. This is the stuff that nobody talks about. This is the reason that nobody gets where they want to be, is because they're only focused on the good stuff. They're not focused on where they want to go and the person they're trying to become. So Max asked, let me scroll up here. You always put a deadline on it. Yes. Every single goal, every single thing I want, there's a deadline. If you say, I'm going to use you as an example. I want to get 25,000 Instagram followers that are actually engaging. When are you going to do it? Because that could be like 3 years from now. If you guys remember back yesterday when I shared about, my dad said, I'm going to do it Monday. I said, which Monday? 5 years from now? Two weeks? When? Give me a date. A lot of us say things we want to accomplish, but it's one day I want to accomplish it. And here's the problem. When you don't put a date and a specific time that you're going to do it, it's open-ended. So now what you're doing is you're giving yourself the ability to not do it. And then you could just say, well, I'll bump it up another month, and I'll bump it up another month, and I'll bump it up another month. And the next thing you know, you're in 2020 and you didn't even accomplish the goal. There needs to be a date. Now, here's what happens, because I know somebody's going to ask this. Well, Zach, what happens when you don't hit the date? Now you adjust it. You think realistically, okay, how long is it going to actually take me? I hit this obstacle, but I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting because I know the alternative. So you adjust the date. So one of the things I do when I map out, and we'll talk about this tomorrow on our daily action plan, if I don't hit something that I'm supposed to get done, and I have weekly objectives, right? If I don't get the thing done today, I just move it tomorrow. I don't stress out about it. I don't beat myself up. I don't say, Zach, you're a failure. Oh, you did it again. I just say, okay, 1% better, Zach, 1% better. Move this tomorrow. We'll knock it off, and then we'll move to the next thing. I chunk away at it every single day. So here's the homework that I want you guys to do. I want you to get out a pad of paper after you get off here, or tonight if you're at work or whatever it be. I want you to sit down and map out everything you want. And then I want you to really ask yourself, when you're writing that stuff down, I don't want you to just write a list down. Like, I want a Lamborghini and I want a $500,000 home. And I want you to ask yourself, is that thing really important to you? Does it really get you going? Is it really that important to you? And if it's not, eliminate it. This goes back to straight line leadership. It talks about when you're actually creating an action list. Okay, what are the things that I want and I plan to accomplish? Now, what are the things that I'm committed to doing right now? Now, put the things you're not committed to away because they don't matter. So I want you to put down what you're committed to achieving and obtaining in your life and what's important to you and what you really want. I don't want you to put stuff down that's not important. If it's not important, leave it out. Only write things down you truly want, because you can really get caught up when you're mapping out your vision of writing things down that you don't really want just because you think that's like what you should do. I see a lot of people think like, okay, in order to be successful, I need to get a supercar because a lot of the guys that are doing it market supercars. That's BS. A lot of them that are marketing the supercar, they're only doing it because they haven't actually helped people, and it's like a clouds up other people's vision. Like, oh, he's got a supercar, he's successful. There's several people on YouTube right now, and their logic is, I drive the supercar. If you want to get results, you should be listening to me, not other people, because they obviously don't have a supercar. That's not success. So I want you to map down what's important to you and what you want. All right, so any questions you have on this presentation, throw them in the chat box. I'm going to drink some water, and I'm going to answer them. All right, Max says, if I never accomplish something similar, how do you establish that goal to make it realistic? I'm assuming you mean like things that I've accomplished or something, or you're saying something that you want. So I want you to understand, for one, you use the word realistic. And realistic is a horrible word to ever put in your mind, because realistic is what you choose to be realistic. So if you think about it, it's not realistic to own a Lambo. It's not realistic to make $5,000 a day. It's not realistic to live in a mansion. It's not realistic to be able to travel where you want and not worry about what the bill costs. It's not realistic to be able to get your parents' cars. But people have done it, right? So all you need to do is look at like what you see people do, and you use that as motivation that if they've done it, I'm smart enough. Just like I showed the example of Sebastian the other day. Sebastian's nobody special. He's my friend, but he's nobody special. Neither am I. We just want it. So if we can do this stuff, so can you. Guys, do you realize I have a GED? I didn't even graduate high school. It's not because I'm not smart, but I actually dropped out and did homeschool, and then I got the GED. But I don't even have what society tells you got to have. You know what I'm getting on my Lambo when I get the license plate? I wanted to put psychological and employable, but that won't fit on the license plate, so I'm going to put no degree. What society tells us is realistic is BS. That's what you create in your mind. So map out what you really want that will make you happy. If that's like traveling every 2 weeks, that's fine. Understand this too. I'm a very opinionated person. Like, I get really annoyed when a lot of these people talk about the laptop lifestyle, and it's for the main reason because of the fact that the way they market the laptop lifestyle. But I love going to the beach. I just don't like all this, like, you just travel around and live at the beach and you don't do any work stuff, how most people advertise it, because it sets people up for failure. So if you want the laptop lifestyle, understand that's okay. Let's see. I always thought vision was a goal you would never reach, but you worked against. No. Vision is who you want to become, what you want your life to look like in vivid color, and the emotions of how it will make you feel. Do you use a vision board, Zach? Yeah, for the most part, I would say I use a vision board. Like my vision board's a little bit different. I don't have like a traditional vision board like how most people do on their wall. You will see, like, if you guys look like on some of my videos, you'll see like there's a picture of a house on the background. And then in my actual like plan, my vision board is my goals. So in the Evernote file that I talked about, that's my vision board that I read in the morning and at night. It's literally listed out in detail. The reason I don't really like a traditional vision board is there's nothing there that you can like type that tells you like why you want it or why it's important. So like for me, I literally map out like dates. Like I'm horrible with dates, guys. So an example, I literally even have like in my vision board like an area for like my relationship, right? And so I even have to put down like, you know, like my anniversary date, my girlfriend's birthday, my parents' birthdays. I don't remember anything. Like I'm horrible with numbers. After I smacked my head from the motorcycle accident, I forget every year if my dad's birthday is the second or third, so almost it's there. So I have my vision board. So like I can put notes, I can put, you know, how I'm going to get this, when I'm going to get it, like extreme detail. What advice can you give to truly help with consistency? Well, one of them is what I just talked about. Like consistency is something that like if you're not motivated by something, like motivation is important. You'll hear me say I don't like motivation and I don't like the self-help industry. But what I really mean by that is I don't like how most people make it, where it's like you're just supposed to feel good all the time, because you're not. That's why I recommend the book Straight Line Leadership. It's my number one. And the second book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I would say hands down, there's a reason I tell people to read that book, Straight Line Leadership, 3 chapters every single day for the rest of their life. And it's because there's no way you can read that book and not be consistent. Because if you read it, anybody in this group that's read the book is going to know that if you read that book every day and you truly follow it, you're going to feel horrible about yourself and know that you're not doing stuff. It's like having your own accountability partner telling you that you're not showing up in life every day. And if you read it enough, it's going to make you start doing stuff. Like I started applying Straight Line Leadership in every area of my life because I read it and I read it and I read it. Like right now, in the last 2 weeks, I'm already another round of the book again. I'm starting again, fresh tomorrow. I literally read it every single day. It's not something I just talk about. Like that is what fixed my consistency. When I'm not consistent, guess what? I stopped reading the book every time. Every time in my life, I've stopped reading the book. I stopped being consistent. I get back on reading the book. I'm consistent. Hypnotherapy. I don't really have an opinion on it, Natalie, because I've never done it. I don't even honestly know much about it. I mean, I know what it is, but I've never studied it or anything like that. I'm more there's one of the guys I followed. I followed for years because I started in the actual fitness industry. I started. His name is Craig Ballantyne, and he has this saying that action beats anxiety. Max, throw it in the chat if you remember like the exact saying, but it's something like action beats anxiety and something else beats meditation. And he meditates, but his whole point, I can't think of the exact phrase he uses, but his whole point is a lot of us are spending our time thinking and planning and like thinking is important. I'm just telling you to create your vision once, so that way you know to get you moving. From there, it's important that you actually take the action, right? And his whole point is that you don't just sit around and like meditate every day and the law of attraction and will it into your life. You got to actually take action on it to do it. Susan said it's so easy to live on autopilot and not show up. It is. It really is. The changing parts and getting uncomfortable and doing the things that everybody tries to avoid, it's painful. It really is. Like the stuff I'm telling you, I understand it's not easy. But this is the stuff I avoided. Like, give me a yes. Are you guys happy that I started teaching this stuff? Like, are you guys getting value from this series that I'm doing in the pre-training week? Like all the stuff technical is coming next week. Next week for the next 4 weeks, it's all technical. But this is stuff I avoided teaching. I've been doing it myself, but I avoided teaching it thinking it's too woo-woo or it's too, like it will repel people that like then they definitely won't take action because it's too much. All right, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Good. That's what I was hoping for. All right, guys, I think that's a wrap. I think that's it for today. Now something to note, tomorrow will be another session that's pretty long. Like this week, honestly, is going to be where most of the longer sessions are because it's like, it's really, really detailed on how you map out your life and how you do stuff, right? My goal, and I can't promise because I'm good at talking, but my goal is to make it more like 30 minutes, moving forward, 20 to 30 minutes. And then after the 4 weeks after there, then I want to keep things at like 20 minutes or less. So that way it's just like bite-sized chunks every day that you can use. So yeah, other than that, have a great day, guys. I got a long day ahead of me, and I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place.